गाइस, तो मैं आ चुका हूँ टोकन 2049 दुबई के अंदर और यहाँ पे बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट लोगों के साथ पॉडकास्ट करेंगे, इंटरव्यू करेंगे। और टोकन 2049 दुबई में क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि आप लोग अगर नहीं आए तो आपको मेरे इस चैनल के थ्रू यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारी इंपॉर्टेंट जानकारी मिलेगी। जानकारी होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि ऐसे इवेंट्स के अंदर आके आपसे फ़ोटो सेशन नहीं करते हो। प्लीज़ यहाँ पे आप आके आइडेंटिफाई करने की कोशिश करते हो वो टॉपिक्स की जिनकी आपको तलाश है। जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ पे अभी dYdX के साथ में भी आप देखोगे आगे इंटरव्यू मैंने लिया है, तो dYdX की इंटरव्यू में आपको पता लगेगा कि हमने बात करी वहाँ पे कि क्या dYdX को कैसे थ्रेट है, हाइपर लिक्विड इतना सक्सेसफुल कैसे हुआ, हाइपर लिक्विड की सक्सेस की वजह से क्या dYdX को बहुत बड़ा थ्रेट है, या dYdX भी कुछ कर रहा है या वो इवॉल्व करेगा, और आपको एज अ ट्रेडर आपको किन बातों का ध्यान रखना चाहिए वाइल इवेल्युएटिंग अ डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड एक्सचेंज। तो ऐसे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग और भी पॉडकास्ट करूंगा फ्यूचर में, लेकिन अभी फिलहाल इस वीडियो में आगे देखना जो हम इंटरव्यू किया हमने चार्ल्स के साथ, उसको आप देखोगे और आप वाकई में आपको लगेगा कि नहीं क्या ज़बरदस्त डिस्कशन हुई है। चलो इंटरव्यू को देखते हैं। Welcome to another podcast from Token 2049 Dubai. This is an amazing week, and we are starting this amazing week of all the action happening in Dubai with dYdX, right? And I'm here right now at dYdX event, and with me is Charles. Charles is the CEO of dYdX Foundation. He has been on our podcast channel before. And today I'm going to ask him some really hard questions.
Hard questions only?
Yeah, hard questions only. Because I know if you are holding dYdX tokens, you are worried about its price. And it's a straight question I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to hide anything. And I'm going to check that if he is honest or not, because I know there are a lot of questions in your mind because we keep listening to all those stories. And today we are also going to discuss about this Made in America stuff as well, because dYdX Foundation is based out of US. So is this really going to benefit dYdX Foundation or not? And what is Charles' take on it? And I also tell you one thing, when we say what is the current scenario right now in the market? Are we in the bull market or we are in the bear market? It's the exchange who gets to know it first. Because trading is what? Trading is your expression. Through your trade, you're trying to express. Either you're trying to express your joy or optimism, or you are trying to express your fear through your trades. So exchange gets to know it first. I'm going to ask Charles, are we in a bull market or in a bear market? We are also going to ask him about obviously your favorite subject, token price. We're also going to talk about the threats from hyperliquid. Because most of the people think, dYdX? No. Now I'm talking about hyperliquid. I'm trading there. Is the threat real for dYdX? And if the threat is real, and if they acknowledge it, what are they doing it? Are they taking any steps? And what are the announcements or some alpha? Obviously, you're listening to this podcast to get some alpha. And I don't know if Charles will be open to that or not, if he's going to give some alpha. If that happens, obviously, that question will be at the end. So you need to stick around and welcome Charles. And I want to begin.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Yes.
Welcome to Dubai.
And I want to begin this conversation with your recent trip to India.
Yes.
Right? You told me that you were in Rishikesh.
Yes.
How was the experience, and what is your take on India? I mean, because I've seen in the last conversation as well that you love India in every respect. What was your experience in Rishikesh?
Last time we met was in Bangalore.
Yeah.
We had this dYdX event, and we had a good conversation.
Yeah.
I'm into yoga. I'm not doing enough yoga, but I have something with yoga. It brings me peace. It brings me flexibility. It brings me a lot of things. And one of my yoga teacher, an Indian yoga teacher, organized every year a trip to the ashram where he was a student for many years. So we go to this ashram in Rishikesh. There are students around us, about 150 students, which are doing the yogic studies. Okay. We are 100 meters from the Ganga River. So every morning we go swim in the Ganga River. Then we do classes.
So every morning you were swimming in Ganges? Wow.
And the Ganga River in Rishikesh, really chill, very cold, because you're very close to the Himalayan mountains.
Absolutely.
So yes, I went there again in Rishikesh this year. And at the end of the kind of retreat, we celebrated Holi. Holi in Rishikesh was just amazing.
Right.
I had all the colors. I was like a rainbow.
Wow.
People call me Rainbow after that. I was like, please show me more colors. It was a lot of fun. So yes, I love India a lot, and I like to travel there.
Absolutely great. So, Charles, right now, straight question I'm going to ask: where dYdX is placed right now? Because from an outside perspective, most people believe that day for dYdX is over. A lot of competition has threat. They have been giving a lot of threats to dYdX through various things like on trading fees. Somebody saying liquidity. We list tokens much faster than dYdX. Are the threats real? How are you placed? Are there any concerns right now?
dYdX exists since 2018. Okay. So many of the new players in the market are very young. We've seen the cycles of new players in the perps DEX business coming in and out. So some companies have totally disappeared. I don't need to name them today, but like there is basically new threat to dYdX and new players in the perps market every 6 months. But only so many of them will go through the cycles. One thing which is important to remember is that dYdX has been weathering so many storms since 2018. That's not the first storms. The storms we have right now is a serious one. I'm not going to lie. Hyperliquid is doing a fantastic job. Hyperliquid, in my opinion, is still in a honeymoon period. They just released their tokens. They minted millionaires here and there. The community is very strong. I still think there is a number of red flags which I think we still need to keep paying attention to make sure that it's not going to blow in our face. We've seen that in the past, that sometimes some darlings will keep growing until they explode. I don't wish that for Hyperliquid, but I think there are a few flags which people should pay attention.
What are those red flags? What are a normal audience listening to you? You said red flags. What are those concerns that can arise in any?
So to me, when you are in DeFi as an operator and as a protocol, and the code of your project is not open source, that's not healthy. Imagine if Uniswap was not open source. Imagine if Ethereum was not open source. Maybe the traders at this point in time don't care. The Binance code is not open source. Yeah. That's okay for many traders. But if you're building in DeFi, you need to choose exactly what kind of things you're doing. There is also this market maker, internal market maker, the Hyperliquid market making vault, which is trading against the users. I don't think it's very healthy. We've seen some centralized exchanges which were running also market makers and trading against their users. Maybe it's working for now. Is it healthy? I don't think it's healthy. If we look at the history of crypto, these kind of patterns are not good patterns in general. At dYdX, we do not trade. There is no adjacent companies of dYdX trading against the users. We are only creating the code and deploying the code. So that's two main ones. Then there was also this, the blockchain is running, for the most part, I think 77% or so of the consensus of the blockchain of Hyperliquid is run by the foundation, basically. So the foundation of Hyperliquid decide if the chain goes in one direction or another. There are some other validators, but they don't have enough voting power to essentially influence the consensus, influence the decision of the chain. Should one block be in that direction of the other? So we've seen, for example, when there was the case, I think it was a jelly token, some decision was made by some people, I don't know, at Hyperliquid, like, oh, this trade should not have happened. Let's kind of revert this. That's not healthy also. You need to decide where you are. So it doesn't mean that dYdX is perfect neither. We have a lot of things we need to keep improving on the technology side, on the experience. But I just want to kind of acknowledge that it's important to keep in consideration the projects which are highly ethical, which are totally transparent, which have been existing for many years. We never cut any corners. So what are we doing now to kind of reverse this trend? A lot of things have been happening at the governance side of things at dYdX. So the governance and the token holders have voted a buyback on dYdX. So 25% of the trading fees on dYdX are used for buyback tokens on the secondary market to essentially help the security of the chain as well as the price of the token to go up. So 25% of the trading fees used for buyback. There is also this big liquidity and kind of a campaign, reward campaign, which has been put in place.
But even other exchanges, the new ones, are also trying to do that as well. Buyback tokens or, So what do you think that short-term tactics can be of a great difference between.
You need to bring them together. So you need to keep building something which differentiates yourself from centralized exchanges. So we list tokens very quickly. Sometimes hyperliquid is faster, sometimes dYdX is faster, sometimes some other people. You need to have liquidity on this new market because these new tokens, sometimes they are not really successful and need to have an engine to basically bring liquidity on this long tail of assets. So we've been listing more than 180 new markets in the past 6 months. So every week, whenever there is enough activity on the market, new markets come up. There is this buyback program. A big initiative has been also distribution of dYdX. So bringing dYdX where the users are. That's very important. Many people in Web3 and crypto are not doing this. Everyone tries to acquire their own users, when actually you should think distribution. What I mean by distribution is today, if we want to launch together a brand for t-shirts, we can open our shop in Delhi, but there is only so many people working by the shop. Or we can decide to put the t-shirt brand on Amazon or some other e-commerce, right? So there is a lot of initiatives, and one of them is with a Binance wallet, which was announced a few weeks back. So dYdX is accessible for the Binance wallet users to trade directly on dYdX. And more of these initiatives will be coming. The goal is to keep balancing the volume of dYdX between institutionals and retail and keep growing as well. The market is also not very active right now. I think the bull market is coming. We're probably going to touch in a few minutes. On that, But there is a series of things which you need to bring together. There is no silver bullet. It's being consistent for a long time and being clear with your identity. And my last point, and that's a very important one. In crypto, we are building trustless systems. But we are still in the business of trust. If you build a smart contract and some random guy build a smart contract, both smart contracts are equally safe. I'm going to use your platform because I know you for a long time. So my point is dYdX has this unfair advantage to be in the market for a very long time, to never have been cutting any corners, to be always sticking to its policy of being open source, building the best technologies for the traders for a long time, and this pays off. When you talk to new hedge funds or new market makers which are entering DeFi from CeFi, they've been on Binance for ages and they want to start on DeFi, they go with the OGs. They go with the projects that have been out for a long time. So there is this unfair advantage, the trust factor around dYdX, which we are leveraging as well.
So tell me one thing. There's also one community aspect is very important in decentralized finance when we talk about. People are saying that the dYdX actually had set the standard of building an amazing community through their airdrop and other initiatives as well. The similar kind of model has been followed by these new exchanges, but in a better and more comprehensive way. So the community side also has affected dYdX as well, where the new communities have kind of transitioned to these new models that are coming up. You think that community has also flown from dYdX to the other platforms?
The community are going where the tokens are distributed. And the community of the people which have distributed tokens 3 months ago, they're going to realize that 6 months after, they don't have so many friends left. So this is very, very, very critical.
So you're saying it's a long process. You should not see it from a short lens.
No, and the people collecting tokens and farming tokens, they will go to the next project right after, right? So you need to think of what is your audience, what is your product, which market are you after. The community goes and evolve over time. The people would get an airdrop are the first generation of your community, and then you got a community of other traders which are more systematic, or more institutionals, or more professionals, and that's the audience of dYdX, right? So do we have as many token farmers as before? No, because the airdrop of dYdX was years back. Does some other people in the crypto market have Vivid community now? Because yes, it's the first generation of that community. But the community of the dYdX is Vivid. You've seen here we got like more than 200 professional traders which are with us today here in Dubai. All of these people are moving millions of dollars every single day, right? So they are also a very important part of the community of dYdX, and it's an exercise of finding the right balance between the kind of retail grassroots community as well as your business community. And the dYdX has a very strong business community, and the grassroots community evolve, and we keep working on it with our Twitter, with our Discord communications, as well as with the forum.
Right. Charles, coming on to what is happening in US with all these things, the one major aspect that I wanted to touch upon is the Made in America stuff. Because when I go through on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, I see dYdX Foundation. I found it to be from US based, and we all know that dYdX Foundation is based out of US. How big of an advantage it is, or it is not an advantage at all? It is all the perception. You think that this Made in America stuff is really going to help, or you think that you as a foundation don't really believe in that, because foundation generally is like trying to make the protocol as decentralized as possible, and attaching something to it like is not going to really help in the longer run. What is your overall take on Made in America stuff?
I think it's a trend which will be helping dYdX. Why dYdX is kind of embedded into this Made in America trend is dYdX Labs, which is a company behind dYdX code and software. The original founder of dYdX, Antonio Giuliano, is the CEO of dYdX Labs or dYdX Trading, and they are based in America, in New York. The foundation is based in Switzerland, but effectively the code is produced in the US. That's right. It's important to be present in the US. I think it's a lot of new and fresh hair coming to this market, which has been kind of always pushed back by the previous administration before Trump. So I think it's just a good dynamics to be surfing on. But dYdX is a global kind of community and a global protocol anyways. People are using dYdX from multiple places in multiple different ways. But that's positive because it's a recognition that the software has been built in the US for many years and that there are quality builders in the US as well. But I think if it's a very American thing also to say Made in America and kind of highlight the trend. But it's one component of the identity of dYdX, and it's a strong one. Yeah. dYdX is de facto built in America via dYdX Labs.
Right. One thing that, when I talk to traders, they say, one feedback that I got is, they say when it comes to listing new markets, dYdX is very slow. And probably because maybe since their foundation is based out of US, they are very careful in that. While taking care of that thing, that makes them slow. And that is where the other exchanges, the new exchanges, are taking that benefit and placing the markets faster, listing new tokens. What is your overall take on that?
There was a situation at some point where the listings of new market was a little bit slow. Why was it slow is you need to take a decision as a protocol. Do you want to list everything under the sun? Do you want to list very quickly and too early a market, which will be possibly a toxic market because the liquidity will not be there and you cannot provide like a proper experience? So these are really important questions. Is it a race to list whatever is under the sun, and some traders burning their fingers on a market which is highly liquid and toxic? We've seen that, right? Or thinking, okay, should we just keep thinking first principle? How do we bring the best experience and the most velocity in terms of listing, but also finding a good balance so we don't bring non-finished market or too young market to the market. Long story short, there is since now a few months this permissionless listing which is in place with dYdX. So the dYdX community very quickly now, it's permissionless, is able to essentially list instantly new markets. So 180 plus additional markets have been listed in the past 6 months. So some of them are meme coins, some of them are more traditional projects, many of them. And there is still an inventory right now of about 250 markets that users of dYdX can decide to list, essentially. Listing is one step. After you list, you need to bring the liquidity to this market, right? So to come back to your question, I think it was a fair comment which was shared to dYdX, and the team has been working on this, and there is a solution already in place for a few months now.
Right.
The reality of the market also, if you think first principle, I acknowledge that you might have meme coins, you might have like new projects. I acknowledge that you should be listing quickly. But if you kind of take a 30 days views on thing, the core of the business is still on the top 10, 25 markets. You need to be present with the long tail asset, and you should not miss them. but look at how the business distributes on Binance and Coinbase and hyperliquid and some others. Most of the business is around like the leading tokens, right? So you need to find also a good balance and making sure you are high velocity again, but you cannot judge a project only because you listed 2 hours later. That's a little bit short-term view.
Yeah. Okay, just tell me one thing. We are seeing that institutions are right now interested in Bitcoin and putting them on treasury. You think, or I don't know if you think, it's just that maybe it's a reality that our institutions also reaching out to you that how we can integrate dYdX into our maybe banking or financial sector and bringing millions and millions of people overnight, and maybe they're using dYdX without even knowing that where they are swapping their assets. Do you think that this kind of future is near, or institutions are already reaching out to you and already few partnerships are in place? If you can give us some comment on that.
Institutions are on dYdX since day one already. So think of the biggest market makers in the world, they are all active on dYdX. And they will be kind of distributing their trading strategies between CeFi and DeFi and different places. So institutions are already on dYdX. 2 trends which we see coming more, AI agents. We're not working for AI agents specifically, we don't have a specific offers for them, but we realized over the past months that some AI agents were asking questions.
Yeah.
And we realized like this is actually not a human. This is actually an AI agent, and we could basically look at their wallets and seeing them trading. Not so much, to be honest, but this is something which we will probably work on to try to keep analyzing and thinking, okay, this is maybe something which will keep growing and we should be adjusting a few things, so maybe AI agents can come. AI agents can only trade on DeFi. AI agents cannot do a KYC with Coinbase, you cannot KYC with Binance.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's a
so this AI agent economy, if you're excited about it, we are very excited because they can only do DeFi.
Yeah.
So this is one trend. AI agents are coming slowly, but nothing to be impressed by, but it's good to see that the infrastructure is ready for that. Then what we see is more and more crypto players and crypto institutionals, which have been for many years only on CeFi. So only trading on Binance, only trading on Coinbase and so on. And they realize that they are trading against a black box. They realize that the competition is extremely hard on CeFi because it's so easy. Anyone with a compliance department will go Binance, because Binance will sign something and you have some terms and conditions, whatever you have to keep your compliance department happy. So you happen to be like so many fish in the same kind of bucket, and it's really hard. You can still make some money, but it's extremely hard. You have the flow of retail on the other side, which is a good thing to have, but you're still eventually trading only against a black box. So the next step for them is essentially to go in DeFi, and I can tell you for a fact, when you've been in CeFi for a long time and you enter DeFi, you go with the OGs. You go with the brands which have been established for a long time. You go with projects which tick a lot of boxes. Decentralization is sufficient. Is the code open source? Do we have different things in place which have not been discounted or postponed to later? So the newcomers in DeFi, they start with the OGs. I give you an example. If tomorrow you have to do some lending in DeFi, if you just have to do $100 lending, maybe you're going to try a new project on Solana, and that's okay. But if tomorrow you want to do lending operations for $100K or $1 million, I know where you're going to go. You're going to go Aave. The same happen exactly the same for derivative markets, where essentially when people enter DeFi, they're not going for the shiny new place. And the important things to capture for the audience is, in crypto, you've got this circular money, which is the same amount of money moving from project to project within the same bucket, right? Where I spend a lot of time advocating and engaging is with essentially the new money in crypto. Is the new money in crypto big? It's just massive. There is so much money which is not in crypto yet. So we are working a lot with institutions to bring them to DeFi via dYdX and via the crypto derivative market. Remember that the crypto derivative market is 10 times bigger than spot.
Absolutely.
This is just a massive market, highly competitive but very big. And if you want to kind of caliber, how big is this new money? What are you talking about, Charles? Think about the money which has been invested in crypto via the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF. Now you get the idea. All of this money via ETF is new money. You did not buy a Bitcoin ETF. You already own your Bitcoin. You're already crypto native.
Yeah.
So if you want to kind of size and caliber this new money, how big is the potential? Look at the stablecoin market and look at the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF. We just see the size of the money which is ready to come in. So if you get the proper branding, trust, and rails, the growth will just keep on coming and being massive.
Yeah. And I also see that there is a growing trend of now more and more big exchanges are getting compliant. And there is a growing trend that when the big exchanges are getting compliant, these are this small new non-KYC exchanges, creeping in, and they are taking this as an opportunity. But I think it's very risky to trade on small centralized exchanges, and you don't know their history, their past. What should be the right approach for somebody who's do not want to use a CeFi and still want to keep its privacy? What is your overall take? Should a person go with a CeFi or a DeFi to begin his journey in a very honest way?
You should start on CeFi. You should start on Binance or whatever other centralized exchange. Make sure the exchange is very well known. Don't be too sensible to fees. I know everyone has to take care of his own wallet, but like taking the amount of risk to save only 10 cents, just don't save those 10 cents and pay a little bit of a premium to go with a shop which is in place for a long time, which is properly run and everything. I think that's very important. And then when you are ready for DeFi, go into DeFi. And I will say start with the big brands, the people which have been in this space for a long time, the people which are well known, the project you can put a face on, the people which are not shy to be out there and saying, this is what we do since 2018. Again, we come back to this thing. It's about trust. And the trust in crypto is a real factor. Why do people use Coinbase versus not this new little thing? So yes, just go at your own pace, and I will say that invest whatever you can, not too quickly. You will learn the same if you invest $100 than if you invest $10,000. You will make the same mistake. It will be smaller and less painful mistakes. So give yourself some time and be patient and start with things which are the blue chip, the Bitcoins, the Ethereum of the world are things which are very well established.
Right. What do you think? I mean, because since an exchange gets a better idea of what's coming up, so are we in a bull market, or you think that Bitcoin again reaching at $95,000 is still making the move? I mean, you think that in future are we going to see the bull market, or the bull market is not going to be the same the way we saw it in the past? There are a lot of confusion prevailing in the market. What is your take? Because since you meet so many people, you have this exchange, you get to know the expression much earlier than most of the people. What is your overall take?
I like the way you put it, because it's true that an exchange is a place where everyone expresses his opinion. You go long, you go short, you do nothing. That's a place where you get the sense of it. The sense of it, right? I'm not qualified to give an investment advice to anyone. I can only tell you like what do I feel, and for the people to find out what they want to do with it. I think crypto has matured so much now that it's very much linked to macro. Okay. I'll start with one thing. I think the investors and the crypto investors, when we saw Trump going at the White House, have been very naive. That's why we saw this bull run before Trump started effectively his job, right? And we were all thinking, oh my God, Trump is a Bitcoin maxi, it's just going to be massive, it's only the beginning. And then after day two, we all understood like Bitcoin was on his list of things to do, but priority was tariff. And we haven't seen, if we look carefully, we haven't seen like very big moves on Bitcoin or crypto yet. The change of tone is massive, and that's very positive. We have the Stablecoin Act coming into action probably by August. There is a few things coming up, but it's not as big as it was before. The Trump administration has probably shaken the world and keep shaking the world with the tariff, so it put everyone kind of risk-off attitude. And the same apply to the people in crypto. That's why we've seen so many kind of outflow from the Bitcoin ETF in general. I think within the next 90 days, 100 days, this whole tariff chapter will kind of settle down. We will get more clarity, things will be more clear and the market will be able to reprice things properly. I think within 100 days, the central banks will start to get new data points coming from their domestic economies. How is my economy doing? And being able to project their economy's forecast given the new tariff, which will happen anyways, right? And I think within 100 days, we're going to start to see the central banks printing money like no tomorrow. Not only in the US, but in Asia, in Europe, because the same problem will be more or less the same. Bringing more liquidity on the market will just push up equity, will push up crypto. And then I predict that on the crypto side, Bitcoin will be the strong leader, as it often is for the cycles. So you should see Bitcoin going higher and higher and higher. And at some point, Bitcoin will probably plateau, or some Bitcoin investors will say, wow, that was a really good run. I better take some money off the table a little bit. And they will redeploy probably on the altcoins, partially. Then that's when you will see the altcoin season.
You didn't mention Ethereum. You said...
I'm coming with Ethereum. Altcoins are coming. When the altcoin season comes in, Ethereum and a selected few, Solana also, and a selected few of DeFi protocols, which have trusted benefits, which are readable from the outside, like, okay, how much the tokens have been distributed, how much liquidity and how much profitable is their business. Then there will be two altcoin seasons, or maybe a better altcoin seasons for the premium tokens. The Ethereum, the Solana, as I believe dYdX should be part of this cohort as well. And then the tide will go up for everyone, but not exactly the same for everyone, in my opinion. And then it's your job as an investor in crypto to decide when do you want to start to rebalance, or when you want to start to take some money out of the table for your real life, not for the market only. Just making sure you can take good care of your family, take good care, maybe buy this apartment you wanted to buy for a long time. Let crypto give you the positive things. Not only the emotional roller coaster or the kind of intensity of the market going up. It's also your job to decide when it's enough, or when some of it is enough to basically rebalance into some of the real life things which are important for you.
Charles, a personal question before we end this. You have kids at home. Even I have kids. And you're seeing that more AI is, kids are in fact using it more. I'm seeing that they are talking to them, they're interacting with AI. And obviously, our parents were also worried about our future, and every parent wants a better future for their children. And they want them to guide them to a right profession or occupation, what they want to pursue, and you kind of give them a direction. What are you talking to your children these days? That if they are asking, or you want them to, how to prepare themselves in an era where you are definitely seeing a dominance of AI going forward. How you're preparing them? What kind of discussion you're holding at home at dinner table? If you can just give some light on it.
I'm trying my best. I'm a parent amongst millions of parents. So I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and it might not be the best, but this is what I'm doing. I think in the era of machines, in the era of AI, humans will strive if they have two things. Number one is they keep being able to ask the right questions.
To AI?
To AI.
Okay.
But the difficulty is, what do you want? How granular is your question? Are you asking the right question? So it's not only a beauty context with like, look, how long is the response? Look, how good is the picture? Like, are you asking the right questions? Which is really, really hard. And asking the right questions means you really understand what is happening around you. So asking the right questions and being curious and keep on asking the machine the right questions, I think is the most important. I remember when I was a student, I was a teacher in a cyber cafe. This was the very early days of the internet. And I was having customers sitting in front of Yahoo and Alta Vista at the time. And they were like, okay, so what is it? I said, this is the internet. And I had to teach them, like, this is the biggest encyclopedia of the world. If you don't know what you want to know, or if you don't have any question, it's going to bring you nothing. So the first thing I'm trying to keep my kids active on is asking questions and trying to give them, like, asking better and better questions. Then the AI will become an ally and not a threat. Okay. The second thing and the last thing I'm trying to keep my kids active on is being creative. Machines will never be creative. So are you creative in the way you present your business, in the way you present yourself? Are you creative in the way you organize your holidays? Are you creative in the way you build your portfolio? Are you creative in many, many senses? One thing I'm personally doing, I'm busy as an executive. I'm writing my second book on crypto, and it's a way for me to force myself to be creative. So I'm not always racing against the market, against everything I'm doing, but taking a pause from time to time, the same way you might go for a yoga session. You take a pause and you say, hey, Charles, here, it's not about like how many words you're going to write. Is your story in the good context? Will your story be meaningful for the people which might be your readers, and will you bring some value with this book? So my second book is out in October.
Oh, wow.
It's called Arabian Crypto, UAE, and it's basically some kind of business guide of...
I already have your first book.
Thank you for that. And the second book will be some kind of business guide for crypto executive to understand the UAE between Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Riyadh, for example. And this kind of mapping of the ecosystem here is done through 15 to 20 different interviews with crypto executives here. I will be interviewing in a few days Samdeep from Polygon, which is living here. So I want to understand, like, why did you come here? What did you learn here? How did your business evolve being out of Dubai? And I think there is something which should be shared so people can get inspired somewhere.
Wow. Amazing. So while we leave you, Charles, I'm sure we have asked you so many questions. Any price prediction for dYdX?
I'm going to give you a price prediction for Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is going to be more compliant.
Okay.
So I think Bitcoin will go at 137K within the end of the year, and Ethereum should be reaching easily 5K within the end of the year.
Ethereum at 5K. So, this is important, because I've never seen somebody. After a while, I've come across somebody who's very bullish about Ethereum. So, any thought on Ethereum? I mean, before we leave it, because a lot of people say Ethereum is dead, and now Ethereum, there's no coming back. What could be one catalyst that can really play an active role in bringing Ethereum back to the limelight?
The ecosystem of Ethereum is second to none. It's the biggest one. The number of builders on Ethereum is just massive. There is maybe a problem with the layer 2, which are potentially extracting value, but there are changes also within the Ethereum ecosystem, notably at the foundation, which are trying to change things around. If you look, where are the stablecoins? 2025 is the year of stablecoins. There is nothing else happening in 2025. It's stablecoins only. They are all being minted for the most part on Ethereum. Okay, so this is where the most devs, this is where the money is. When BlackRock builds something, they launch on Ethereum. Where are the biggest AUM of tokenized products from BlackRock? On Ethereum. So you diversify here and there, but everything comes back to Ethereum. One thing which is missing, and that's maybe some alpha for you, it's only a rumor. It's only a rumor. I was told this week in Dubai that someone is building the MicroStrategy for Ethereum. And that will be if it's well executed and well scaled, that will be highly impactful as well. But I keep my view.
I know.
Ethereum at 5K. You know?
I know. But this is crazy. I mean, for the first time, I heard something like this. I mean, guys. Coming from Charles, I'm not saying that you trade Ethereum right away, but I think this is very important because I know, especially these bankless guys, they say that they're just waiting for a Masiha like Michael Saylor for Ethereum. And probably this could be a moment.
I think there is one in the making. We need one, and there is one in the making for sure. But otherwise, the fundamentals are really in favor of Ethereum. And it's just this one moment in the market when the market is tough with you. It pushes you to, you become desperate. You don't believe in this bag anymore. And you're like, why I'm still with this? And if you look at the fundamentals and you try to think first principle, in my opinion, there is still a massive amount of value.
Wow. So guys, this is the best part. This is the best part. You need to, again, listen to it, and maybe you can rewind it, and then we'll take a clip out of it and put it somewhere. So thank you very much, Charles. I think
thank you for having me. Good to see you in Dubai.
It's always fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to meet you again. All the very best.
100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.